Now, take a look from the darkness of this morning to now sunset. We are live at this moment as people are turning out, strangers, family members. This is the growing vigil at the school bus stop along Chestnut Street, the scene of this morning's drive-by fatal shooting, bringing together a community that is certainly mourning, a community ready for positive change and to stop to the city's ongoing extreme violence. Hello, everybody. Here at 6, I'm Doug Proffitt. The shooting happened at 6:30 this morning as the group of children and others were waiting for their school bus. Family members have named the teenager who was killed as 16-year-old Tyree Smith, a junior at Eastern High School in Middletown. Two others at the bus stop were shot. A 13-year-old boy is in the hospital and a 14-year-old girl who suffered a graze wound. Both are expected to survive. Now, the shooting happened at the intersection of Chestnut and Dr. W.J. Hodge Street in the Russell neighborhood. This is about 20 blocks west of downtown Louisville. So far, LMPD has not named any suspects tonight, but they have released this. Take a look. They're looking for this vehicle spotted in the area at the time of the crime, and they're looking for this gray Jeep with an Illinois license plate. If you know anything about this vehicle or the shooting, this morning you were asked to call the anonymous tip line 574-LMPD. There's the license plate number on the right of your screen. It is a Jeep Cherokee BD91644. WHS 11's Rachel Droz has some strong reaction from Louisville leaders. Plus, the kids shot this year were part of the JCPS community. Gabrielle Harmon is talking with school counselor and Superintendent Marty Polio. But first, Tyree Smith's family sharing their shock at this shooting. Isaiah Kim Martinez is live from the vigil, starting our team coverage tonight. Isaiah?
Well, Doug, let's first show you what we're looking at here at the vigil. Like you mentioned, obviously dozens here in the community gathering. We actually see a tent over in this direction where many people are kind of centered at this time. They already told us a lot of what they're asking for. One member actually talking about 50 men he's calling for to actually come and support the kids at many bus stops across this area. I also want to show you on this side of the street here, you can see LMPD cars blocking off the entire street intersection of Chestnut and W.J. Hodge to give room for these people. Now, of course, we talked with Aunt Sharonda Smith, who talked about her nephew being someone who had his whole future ahead of him, destined for greatness, and was simply just in the wrong place at the wrong time.
But I've been getting shot up, like I just told you.
He was caught in the crossfire is what it was.
He was caught in the crossfire. For whatever reason somebody else might did, he was going to school.
Now, Smith talked about how hard Tyree worked in his job using his paychecks to buy gifts for his mom and sister. Meanwhile, we stopped at his school today too, Eastern High, just after dismissal. Extra security and parents saying they got a lot of anxious texts from their kids throughout the day. Take one more look. There's actually a speaker going right now. Again, dozens here for this vigil tonight. We'll continue to hear reaction from this community as well as church leaders, and we'll have that for you later tonight at 11 on the night team. Doug.
I'm going to be making some noise because this is not acceptable, and I am tired of burying kids.
It is the latest shooting involving a child in our community and just the top of the violence pile that feels like it's ready to fall over here in Louisville, overwhelming all of us. It is sparking anger and frustration at so many levels. Tyree Smith is the 21st juvenile to be killed this year, a much higher number than has happened in recent years for Louisville, and the number of kids shot is much higher, approximately 80 at the moment. Now, city leaders tonight are calling on you at home to do your part to address violence in our community. WHAS 11's Rachel Droz talked to many of them today. She is also live from the scene of that vigil that's been happening since about 5:30 and is certainly growing. Rachel?
Yeah, Doug, some of those community leaders here tonight right behind me. Just 12 hours ago, almost to the minute, kids were gathered here waiting for the school bus, and tonight one of those kids won't be coming home. The Louisville community is grieving tonight.
What should be a sacred space in our community, a safe space where there should be every expectation of safety and security.
Mayor Greg Fisher saying he's dedicated to stopping gun violence in the city after a drive-by shooting at a bus stop leaves one teen dead and 2 others injured.
That sacred space was violated this rainy Wednesday morning by gunfire. And a teen who should be in school today will not be there and will never be there again.
The city says it's doing all it can to investigate this and other crimes in Louisville.
I've been asked a lot, what are we doing? And I will tell you, we are making arrests daily. We are getting violent felons off the street daily.
For this particular shooting, they've even called in the ATF and FBI to assist, but they say they can't fight this battle alone. Their message, they need your help because this could have been any kid. It could have been your kid.
No young person should have to live in an environment where they're afraid of violence. And no community should have to live in fear that their children could be victimized while waiting on a school bus.
The mayor with a message to those responsible for the shooting and to the people committing other violent crimes in the city.
Please look in your heart. You were not born this way. This is unacceptable.
Pastor Charles Elliott, another community leader, turning to God to bring peace to the city. He's holding a service tonight at 7:30 at the Israel Missionary Baptist Church.
You're not going to pull this your way out here. We're going to have divine help from God.
And again, that service that he's holding, it's going to be at 1509 Magazine. That is at 7:30 and it is open to the public. And this vigil here just getting started. You can see behind me there is a speaker and quite a showing of the community here tonight supporting the 16-year-old who lost his life. For now, live in Louisville, Rachel Droz, WHAS 11 News.
Rachel, thank you very much. The remarkable scene there as police have blocked off Chestnut Street as the crowd is growing. There is also a call to the state for help with Louisville's violence. Governor Andy Beshear tweeting out his condolences for the families involved in this morning's tragedy, writing, "This is unacceptable. We must do better." He went on to say he stands with the West Louisville community. JCPS counselors are working to help the students cope with the trauma of this crime. Gabrielle Harmon talked to one of them earlier today about the service that they provide.
Officials are working to reestablish an environment that allows students to feel safe. One local therapist with Transcend Counseling says that's the first thing needed to help students work through what they have experienced. JCPS has 300 counselors with different focus backgrounds to meet all of their students' needs. Counseling officials with the school say depending on the extent of the crisis will depend on how long they are providing services at an affected school. Services can be provided at a hospital, bus stop, within the school, wherever they are needed. Those professionals are trained and sent to provide support.
But our primary goal is to give them a safe space to talk, give them positive coping skills, and we're triaging students and identifying students that may need more additional intensive counseling intervention after the crisis team has left.
If you would like to get your child counseling or to learn more about what Transcends Counseling offers, we'll have a link to it on our website. For WHAS 11, I'm Gabrielle Harmon.
If you'd like to watch all of this morning's news conference with Metro leaders, including the chief, we've posted it on our website, WHAS11.com. You can also view it on the WHAS 11 app.